Welcome to the Business Results Program. This is how you can transform yourself, your team, and your whole company. My name is Winiarski. I'm the CEO of Win Enterprises, LLC, and this video is us recording a podcast episode. Podcast Business Results Radio. Look up businessresultsradio.com or go check it out on iTunes or one of the other podcast platforms. And do subscribe and do give a 5-star review. Now, you as a business leader, we get what you're going through. You've got overwhelm and stress and frustration. You have high expectations on your shoulders, some of which you put there yourselves. Why can I say this? Because we, our team, we've experienced this ourselves. We have been business leaders. We know what it's like. And boy, how cool is it that you have this resource. You can listen to this podcast, gain some insights about what you can do differently, gain some ideas, some strategies that you can put in place right away to make your life easier. That's what we're after here. We want your life to be easier because being a business leader does not have to be this challenging, doesn't have to be this hard. And we want you to exceed your expectations, excel, and achieve the results you want, get your team to thrive, and your company to just absolutely go right through the roof. And you can do that here. Enjoy this episode. How crazy is this? Okay, so today we have my dear friend Terri Levine, Dr. Terri Levine, Dr. T, the medicine woman, BizMD. Let's call her whatever other creative cool names you want. This is going to be a lot of fun today. Would you agree, Terri?
I definitely know it will be already.
Well, try not to laugh over our speaking. I went to college with a guy who would laugh and talk at the same time. I never had an idea what he was saying.
That's pretty funny.
So Terri, you just a couple of bio points. We started on that. The idea of an author. You have written, what's the number now?
So in print, I have over 40 books and I have 2 more coming out this year. So yeah. And then I'm going to take a break for a while.
A break for a while means probably 6 months.
I don't know, Pete. I'm really thinking I might just take a real break and stop writing for a while and just do a lot more speaking instead of writing for a while.
Well, that's always fun too.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, as you prep your speaking content, up comes an idea for another book.
Yeah, don't remind me of that.
Well, I won't remind your husband of that. How's that?
Oh, yeah, right.
Mark will come after me.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, this is a really good way to kind of ease into this. What are the 2 books that are coming? What are they about?
So one of the books is called Turbocharge Your Business for Female Entrepreneurs, and that's based on the success of the other 2 Turbocharge. Next few months. And then
Hey T,
yeah.
I'm gonna freeze you right there because you froze for about 5 seconds all of a sudden.
And I don't know why, because I'm on a 5G LTE.
5G LTE sounds good to me. So,
all right, times.
turbocharge your business for women entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Based on the success of the Turbocharge series.
Yeah, and my desire to help a lot more women in business. I have a very strong desire to see other women as successful as I've been. And the other book that's coming out, which I know comes out on Black Friday, I just happen to know that date, that is called About to Break, The Path to True Forgiveness. And that one is literally an autobiography. It's my life story starting at about age 5. All the things that have happened on my journey that even my husband does not know. So it's quite a revealing book. And the reason I wrote it is from my life experiences, I actually learned forgiveness. And now I have my own little formula that really works. And a lot of people kept asking me, teach it to me. So I said, I'll write it in a book. So my story's in there, the formula's in there, and I think it'll be a very good learning for people.
The forgiveness formula. I like that.
Yeah.
So the Turbocharged books, now the subtitle in there has something to do with being a heartrepreneur.
Yes, correct.
And that's really what we want to talk today about. You leading, so think of, you in the audience listening,
you have your leadership challenges, you have your, what do I do today? How do I measure up with the level of performance I'm required to get so that I don't get in trouble, to keep the board of directors or the boss or the whomever happy. And there's these, huge expectations. And then there's, you maintaining who you are as a person, consistent with your values and your purpose, and making sure that you don't create this internal conflict. And I think, Terri, heart-centered leadership and being a heartrepreneur is a lot of what I think that would be a useful, helpful conversation today, because that's giving people a perspective that you can do both. You don't have to compromise one for the other.
Exactly. And when I was doing a lot of larger business consulting, it really dawned on me how much heart was missing from business. I could just see it. And I thought, wow, if we just added heart into the formula, we can teach people all these wonderful things about leadership and team and honesty and communication and integrity. And there's the heart piece that's missing in dealing with employees, dealing with vendors, dealing with partners, dealing with contractors. If we add that in, morale will go up. When morale goes up, in my experience, productivity increases, and so does profitability. So to me, it all started with a common denominator, heart.
Heart sounds great. And what's interesting, another element about working with Terri and I know each other from way back when, Terri, you were my business mentor for a period of time. And then we went into business together and formed the Business Consultant Institute, where we taught people who were either already business consultants or wanted to become a business consultant and figure out how to do that from those variables that you just talked about. High integrity, lead with your heart, essentially make sure that you are delivering results in a high integrity way. And that is so important because it's a differentiator, not just, as you pointed out, the impact it has on other people from a morale standpoint, and from a morale and the boost in productivity, and just getting the team to play better together. All of that does absolutely matter. It's just a matter of now summing it up. So another interesting point. Terri, you and I could go on and tell stories about each other for a long time.
Oh, we really could. We didn't tell them we also had several bestsellers together.
That's true. Thank you for sharing the credit. So some of those 42 books that you're talking about here.
Yeah, so we have 3 books together, and The Ultimate Game Plan is my personal favorite. The Ultimate Game Plan is just, I think anybody who's a business consultant or a leader in business would actually get tons of value from reading The Ultimate Game Plan.
Absolutely. And there's a lot in there about not just consulting, but marketing and business building. And there's just, how to be a good business leader. So take a closer look in there.
The juicy book.
The juicy book. Yeah. And I love the everything about that. I love the cover. Jack Canfield contributed the forward. I love how you and I bantered back and forth in there, and the process of writing it. In fact, in the very room you're sitting in right now.
True.
Right? So Terri, you and I were in here thinking, well, we've got a little bit of work to do on this book to get it up to the publisher's standards. He gave us a word count, and we had done a starting point, which transcribed work, but we really didn't know how far along we were. And what did we discover?
We discovered we had to start from square one, and we were on a deadline and had like a weekend to get it done.
That didn't work.
Yeah, it did not work. So we discovered that sitting and writing together was definitely working. And at the same time, we needed to bring in an editor so we could quickly bang out chapters, get it to the editor, get it back. And without that editor, Kathy Sparrow, jumping in and helping the two of us, we would never have met the deadline. So
yeah.
And we also discovered we got silly when we finished writing.
Well, my goodness, how much of your brain can you pour? For you leaders out there, there's a certain element of writing that happens, whether you choose to ever write a book and be an author or not. There's a lesson in here. And so this is a teamwork lesson. This is Terri and Pete having a project together. So think of this as you as a leader and someone else having an assignment or having a project you want to really launch because you're passionate about it, and you're trying to do it amongst all the other activities that you're accountable for, and then there is a deadline that's creeping up, and so you put the full court press on. And one of those lessons was get help when you need it. And that's exactly what we did. I mean, Terri, we pushed really hard. And then I remember saying, I better call Kathy. I went right out on that deck over there behind your shoulder.
I remember. But that is a really good point for leaders to take in. So you don't work in a vacuum, right? So you work with people and you do projects with other human beings. So here's the two of us working together. And at some point, if you realize you need other resources, whether it's time, money, energy, or expertise, it's better to do that and not to be like, I got this, in my experience. And in our experience, that actually made our book come together so much faster. We met the deadline. And I'm really proud of the book when I read it. Kathy did an amazing job in editing because you have two different people writing and somebody who helps blend that together. So I think that's important for leaders to remember. It's not about living in isolation and like, I got this. It's about how do we do things together, and when we need resources, not being afraid to call them in early.
Absolutely. And if you do think I got this and you make a push for it, the likelihood is that the product, the end product, whatever it is you're creating, will be less than it would have been.
Yeah.
It won't be as good. So excellent point there. I love this. So let's get back to heart-centered leadership. And what's the most important thing that a leader needs to really think about as they're out there making decisions on a daily basis? How do you convert that to lead from the heart? How do you do that?
So the first thing I'll say is, for me, the most important thing in being a great leader, like one skill, there's just one, and that's communication. And that's communication all around. It's communication with your team. It's communication with everybody involved, whether you think they're involved or not. And I'll just give an example. I was consulting with a large hospital, and the CEO was making a lot of decisions in a box, kind of on her own. And the whole management team was not on board with her. As we worked with her to learn how to communicate differently, her communication went all the way down, literally, to people working in the kitchen at the hospital, to the janitorial staff, to the people operating the phones, the switchboard. I mean, every aspect. And when she started to lead in that way, authentic, in integrity, transparent, open communication, she literally got buy-in from everyone and was able to make changes in the hospital so quickly, and people got on board. That's, to me, heart-to-heart leadership. It's, I'm not afraid to communicate. I will communicate. I'll be honest, transparent, and in integrity. I'll be my word. I'm nothing but my word. And people get on board when you communicate.
Yeah, I think that is critically important because everyone has their own perspective. They have their own, sometimes their own agenda. They have their view of what's going on. And in the absence of summing it up, right, with the official word down. Here's the thing, guys. You as leaders out there listening, you're all going so fast, you're probably not communicating to the level you ought to be. Right? And if you really do care, as Terri, you just pointed out, if you care about the results, care about the people on your team, then you've got to sum it up in a way that everyone's on the same page. And one of the things that's interesting, T, we're doing a lot of work with the different styles, of individuals. We use a tool on our team called Insights. Steve Gorman on our team helps out with that. And what's really powerful is that what I'm driven by and what I need to do differently is not the same as you or the next person, right? So it's the mashup of all of this diverse styles, diverse perspectives, diverse skill level, and then you've got to find a way to optimize the team.
Yeah, exactly. And in my experience is a lot of times people hold back from communication. They think people can't handle it, or you're in a need to know basis. And when you start to communicate, and I mean literally communicate. And communication is twofold. It's not just speak at people. It's truly ask questions and listen and take an interest in other people. And, you don't just hand out a mission statement and a vision statement and go, everyone get on board. Everything is co-created. Everything is based on communication and input. In my experience, when that happens, you begin to lead in a way that you're more centered from your heart. You really care about other people's voices and opinions and hearing them as well as hearing your own voice.
Yes, I love that. And I know you must have some pretty good success stories with some of your clients you work with entrepreneurs and business leaders. You kind of carried that torch forward. And we used to do masterminds together. You continue to do masterminds now. Throw out a success story or two of someone who's really applied heart-centered leadership and the kind of results they've gotten.
I'll give you one that's right on the tip of my mind right now, because I was just looking at something she posted today on Facebook. So she started a small psychotherapy practice. And when she came to work with us, myself and Barbara Portzline, who works with me, she said, I just want to grow this. I want to have 3 or 4 clinics. I want to have 10 or 12 therapists, not 3. So we took a look at what was really important to her, and PTSD is most important. And we built her entire brand, instead of just being generic therapy, around the one thing that she was a specialist in. And as that brand started to build, we started to get a lot more business coming in. All of a sudden, she needed a team, right? So it was just not her in isolation with a receptionist. Now it was 8 therapists, expanding to a second office and 6 support staff. And she said, I've never managed people before. I said, you can't manage people, you can manage their behaviors, so let's work on leadership. We got into leadership with her. We went out there, we did, I think, 2 full days. And at the end of the second day, the buy-in, everyone was starting to be on board. Mission and vision were being done together. Communication was flowing back and forth. She has gone on, and it's only been about 6 months, gone on now to get ready to open a 3rd office. She just messaged me on Facebook. She hired 4 more people because she found that everyone working together is helping to build this. They're truly a team. They do everything together. They don't have targets or goals that aren't done together. Changed her whole business.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that level of growth, there's a lot of those small businesses out there who want results like exactly what you just described.
And I'm really excited for her. And she says her way of doing things before was more command and control. Says, what I thought I needed to do, tell people what to do and then make sure they did it and have consequences if they didn't do it. And once she let go of that, she's really embraced like the whole entire Heartreprenuer leadership philosophy. It's very cool.
Yeah, I love that. And Terri, I have all of these examples from baseball coaching. Right. So, and it's a wonderful metaphor that really is very in line with what you just described. And so interestingly, I still, multiple seasons through the year, my younger son is still in baseball age. He's 16 now. And, so we had a practice scheduled for yesterday, and wouldn't you know, only 6 people showed up. So 6. So I knew some of those folks were on vacation because it's summertime right now, and that happens, and we planned for that. But I thought we were going to have 10. Right? So 40% of the people I thought were going to be there didn't make it, didn't show up. So from a leadership standpoint, some of that, do I want to reward the people who made it, or do I want to punish the people who didn't? Right? And a lot of coaches might say, you guys are running, or you guys, whatever. What I told the 6 who were there is like, okay, you 6 are playing the whole game tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Right? It's very simple. And that's been sort of my philosophy along the whole season. It's not new news. It's been communicated to the kids, the parents, and everything. So if you got to miss, you're not punished for missing, but we're also going to reward the people who made it, who showed up and tried.
Yeah, I love that. Also love that it's been communicated, which goes right back to communication is the number one thing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So Terri, as part of the home stretch here, so if someone wanted to connect with you and learn more, other than reading 42 of your books, learn more about your philosophy. Yeah, so think about you as a heart-centered leader or mentor for heart-centered leadership, and someone wanted to poke around and learn more, connect with you. How do they do that?
The best way is go to the website, which is heartreprenuer.com, and you can find out more. There's lots of free resources there. You can watch a really great educational training webinar that teaches you the HEART formula, H-E-A-R-T. It's an actual formula that you can learn and can be applied to any business, and that's what I recommend.
That's a simple step. Heartreprenuer.com, everybody. Go check out Terri Levine there. And Terri, I know you're also prolific in some of the social media, so I'm certain that people will bump into you there. If you dare seek out Terri Levine, she will be in your feed, I can guarantee it.
Definitely. I also do, as you know, I teach people how to actually get a lot of leads from social media. I used to do that only on Facebook, and now I've become a pretty good expert at that on LinkedIn. So I also do encourage people, if they want to connect with me in that way, I'm happy to share some of those secrets.
Secrets, top secrets.
Top secrets.
Excellent. So fun. So Terri, what as a way to wrap up, I'm just so glad that we're hanging out today. A lot of fun. I wish I was down there with you.
Me too. Come back to the beach and visit.
Yeah, Terri, you love the beach. For those of you who don't know, Terri has really built a successful lifestyle around her business. And so you live in Mexico for part of the year. You hang out at the beach here in the Northeast. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it is. I really enjoy it. And because the business is one that I can do anywhere, it's virtual, I can live anywhere. And it was very important to me to establish that in my business. Right.
So those are some important themes for all of you listening, right? What are your core values? What's most important to you, right? So if it's your family, if it's your, the amount of freedom, if it's the hobbies you have, I mentioned that I'm coaching baseball. So I want to make sure I have as much flexibility as I can to still do some of that. And I have a team around me, both on the baseball field with excellent coaches, so that when I need to travel and can't be there, somebody's got me covered. And then I've got an excellent team back in the office at Win Enterprises, so that we have good balance. We do what we need to do, but we also make decisions based on what's important to us. And that's really a big theme for today.
Yeah, that's huge. This is so much fun. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Let's do it some more. All right, Terri.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Hey, Pete here again. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. And I invite you to come back to this video channel, or go to the podcast channel for Business Results Radio. Check it out, subscribe, give a 5-star review, and go ahead and share it with your friends. Until then, we'll see you again.